So yes, this is the news inspired. Today I'm gonna be sharing my thoughts on the Star Wars Rebels like season two finale, since everybody else is yeah. I'm gonna save Ahsoka versus Vader for last, since since it's probably the it's a it's a it's a big topic. I guess I'll start with Maul. Yeah. With Darth Maul, I felt like they should have not put him in the trailers. Like, it's fucking Darth Maul. Like, if they were to not show him at all in the trailers, seeing him, maybe if they showed him in a way that was this big reveal, because it's like the second you saw him, it was like they didn't even try to sort of hide his identity. Like, they knew, like, you'd see in the trailer, it's him, and when he reveals his name, or when he says he's Maul, like, it's not that big of a deal. Um, I did like how with Ezra, how once Ezra jumps off that like giant spire thing, Maul catches him, and for a second, like, it looks like he just wants the holocron, which, when I was watching that, I'm like, wait a second, like, they're they've already been friends. Like, is Maul gonna drop him, and that's it? But no, like, that, and Maul didn't. And then I think that's why, like, Kanan and as not Kanan and Ahsoka go after the eighth brother. I think who gets his ass handed to him by Chopper. uh, but yeah, like, Maul, he was done well. I mean, he is, like, what, at least two stomps under his belt by the end of the episode. He let's see, he stomps the eighth brother, and the eighth brother wasn't looking. Although he had time to activate his lightsaber and defend himself. Then he stomps the seventh Inquisitor once. He's like, okay, I've had enough of Ezra trying to strike him down. But no, I like, no, can I can't Maul and Ezra's sort of friendship friendship throughout the episode. I mean, you have Kanan not trusting Maul, who he's apparently just Maul, not Darth Maul. He just, like, wrecks Inquisitors, like, throughout the entire episode, including, like, that, like, 3-on-1, like, fight he has where he just, like, completely destroys them. I found it funny how he, like, smacked people. He uses like cane as a secondary weapon. He just, like, smack people with it. But yeah, I didn't like how Maul just, like, he just turned on the rebels. Like, I thought it would have been interesting, if you want to have him be Maul instead of Darth Maul. Like, well, then why wouldn't you have him, like, just be like, just maybe, like, I wish their alliance with each other would have lasted longer, rather than just him having, like, turning and saying, like, oh, well, the whole, like, Sith temple is a weapon I'm going to use. I'm not going to explain how to use it. I think it was, like, it's supposed to be like a gun or something. Like, it's maybe like a Starkiller base sort of thing. But I don't know. I don't know what, he was trying to do. I mean, I guess, well, I mean, he didn't die. Like, people are saying he, like, died when, like, if, like, Maul didn't learn anything from, like, Kenobi. He just, like, overconfidently approaches Kanan, who, like, a blind Kanan, he slices out his eyes, he just gets tossed over the ledge, which I was like, what? Yeah, that should have not have happened. Like, if you're gonna have Maul lose to Kanan, don't make it seem like Maul's, like, weak in his unarmed skill. Like, he's a master of Terrace. Like, you shouldn't make him seem weak like that. But yeah, I just really wish that he had maybe been more badass. Like, I get it's, like, what, 16 years, he's past his prime, but still, maybe, like, have him be a little bit more powerful. I mean, he got, like, two stomps. He had, like, individual stomps with the Inquisitors in his 3-on-1 fight, which, I mean, he didn't remove them from the battlefield, but he would have if, they didn't keep saving each other's lives. But yeah, if he was a solid, character. He was a solid addition. I just wish that they had made him, maybe a little bit more powerful. Um, Although, he's past his prime, and also that I just wish they would have kept his, maybe had him, not become like a member of the Ghost crew. That no, that would have been a little like, Darth Maul, forming the Rebel Alliance. That no, not like that, but maybe just have him be like, like a friend. Same thing with Agent Callus. Like, no, that's his episode with Zeb, but like I like that episode. No, at the end they sort of hinted him not staying with the Empire, so maybe they could have him as an inside guy. I don't know if that would be too overpowered, but you'd probably have to underplay him. But with Maul, I just felt like they should have made him like maybe a recurring character. That they're gonna have if they have like Darth Maul in the you know in the TV show now, he's gonna fight Vader, but that's my thoughts on Maul. Ezra for the entire episode, like I have never really liked Ezra that much. Like I like his moments where like I forget which episode it's in, but he runs down like a hallway, like he runs like up a wall and does like this crazy like Ataru maneuver or something. And like I like that when he has those moments, like when he's like fucking like doing like the blaster training and he's like deflecting them and he can't do anything about it. Then like he has a vision, which is I think is in season 1. He like starts deflecting them back at like the helmet, like that like if you're gonna show Ezra's progression, like in the episode before the finale, he said something like, "Oh, a tie again in a sparring match with Kanan." So if I felt like if you showed more of his training and like when you're getting to that point, that could have been better, especially since he's like now supposed to be embracing the dark side, which when Maul says like, "Oh, only someone who thinks like a Sith can open a Sith holocron," but just like they should show more of his training. Like I feel like it would sort of help with his sort of progression into the dark side if he gets more aggressive. Well, granted that might be hard with the blind Kanan. Like I really hope they don't have him fight. Like I want him to become more of a Force user. I want him to sort of study the Force more because like if they just give him cybernetic eyes, like it's not really sort of pointless. But yeah, if Ezra is gonna go to the dark side, like the one like I don't really like the Rebels as much as I do the Clone Wars. Although if they're gonna do like if there's anything that I think they should do, they should maybe sort of have Ezra and Sabine sort of not it doesn't have to be like a proper relationship. Although just like have them sort of be personal. Like I think Sabine should become Ezra's anchor for like staying back from the dark side. And I don't know if Ezra's gonna actually go to the dark side. Actually, he has been. There's at one point like when he like charges towards the Inquisitors and Kanan like shuts the door before he gets to them. When he's being like in that moment, he was being sort of more aggressive when I think they were trying to find out about his parents. Yeah, but I don't really like Maul says, "Oh, you mean my apprentice?" or he says something like that. I'm like, what? Like already? But yeah, Ezra, like he's I guess he's pretty good in the episode. He gets stomped by Vader, although it's like, well, I'm not gonna blame him for that. Well, it is the Vader that he's getting payback for Ezra like force slamming him. Like they really need to like reintroduce force walls, but Ahsoka, Kanan, I guess there's not really that much to talk about with Kanan. He gets his eyes. He doesn't trust Maul at first, and that turns out to be true. Although, I feel like, again, as I stated, I feel like Maul should have been a reoccurring character. He gets his eyes sliced out. There's not, aside from that, unless I'm being stupid and forgetting something. The Inquisitors, they kill like all 3 of the Inquisitors off. There's a new one called the Eighth Brother, I think. No, he he like falls to his death. He's apparently supposed to be like a Django jumper, so like, oh well, maybe since his species maybe are used to jumping, they can survive long falls. Although he apparently was confirmed to be dead. I don't know if that's true. I wouldn't be surprised though, since the 7th sister and 5th brother both died. And and now their rotor sabers can now like make them fucking like fly. I'm like, like what? Like lightsabers can make people fly. Like, it doesn't bother me as much as I think it should. It's not that big of a deal to me. In the Grand Inquisitor, like the Jason Isaacs one, had like he stored his rotor saber on his back. So does that mean he could like Superman into battle? Like, yeah, I mean, and Ezra also. I forgot about this. Ezra gets his lightsaber destroyed by Vader. His like lightsaber gun. Like I was joking about how he would like 360 no scope someone, or like he just jump out of like the Falcon and or not Ghost, if you like jump out of the Ghost or like the smaller ship, or they use the Phantom and just like do a 720 hard scope on Vader. But no, there he gets his lightsaber destroyed. So maybe since he doesn't really have his lightsaber anymore, he maybe uses Kanan didn't. No, I don't think Kanan lost his lightsaber. I think I think Kanan still has his lightsaber. So I think Kanan might give Ezra his lightsaber. So I don't know if Kanan's gonna do that. Because that would make Kanan would be like, I want him, like, since he's blind, I want him to be I don't want him to be him to like fight in a duel again. I'd prefer for him to be like a Force user. More of a Force user. He's more exploring his use of the Force. I mean, to be fair, like if you gave Kanan, I mean, if you gave Ezra Kanan's saber, it's like, well, if you didn't do that, Ezra could might maybe look into the Force he could maybe look into the Force more. I'm not good at speaking, but yeah, like he could look into the Force more and just like explore the dark side. I mean, I don't want him to use like Force lightning immediately, but yeah, that's it. I guess that's the Inquisitors. Ahsoka. I guess we'll talk about Ahsoka. I've never really liked Ahsoka. Like, I found her really annoying in like the first 3.5 seasons for the Clone Wars. I did like her during like her during that 4-episode arc of her being framed for the Jedi Temple bombings. Like, that is what like I liked about her. And for basically, like, people are saying like Ahsoka died. Like, no, she like, I think that like her like at the end when it shows Vader, then it shows like the owl flying. Like when it shows Ahsoka walking down into like that cave, like I actually do think that is Ahsoka. I mean, it may not make sense. It's like, okay, well, if the explosion like just like completely fucked Vader up, then why is Ahsoka like fine? I mean, some people say it looks like she's falling to her knees, although I think it's her going down steps or something. Because like she's not dead. Like if they were to kill off Ahsoka Tano, like Ahsoka fucking Tano, there would be a lot more episode buildup, and like, okay, like, yeah, one, there would be a lot more episode buildup than there was, and like two, they would actually show it. If they were to kill off Ahsoka Tano, they would like, that's something they'd want to show. Like, I don't think they'd let her fanboys get in the way of that. Like, oh, you killed Ahsoka, but like I think that's a death they would like want to show. And I don't like Ahsoka that much, although like I do want, if she is gonna die, which I think is the best thing for her character, that's something like you should just have Vader kill her with a saber. Like Ahsoka as Anakin's Padawan has always like, Anakin having a Padawan is too important is something too important for it to not be mentioned in like Revenge of the Sith. So like when Ahsoka's leaving the Jedi Order and Anakin's like running after her, and Anakin says like, "Hey, I understand where you're coming from." Like that was the point where I was like, okay, I can roll with Ahsoka existing as Anakin's Padawan. So if they wanted to like fully justify Ahsoka existing, then they should like kill her off and give her another one of those moments. But yeah, like throughout the episode, like, I liked her. She apparently we're gonna get a new novel or book with Ahsoka, and I think I've heard that she like fought or met Maul after Revenge of the Sith, which should be interesting. I don't know if that's true, although I have heard about that. So if they want to sort of go with something, like that. But yeah, let's talk about her confrontation with Vader. It was, I actually liked how he was about, Vader. He slices Ezra's lightsaber. He's about to fucking strike him down, but then Ahsoka's there, and I liked the music when they were about to fight. It was the same thing as like when Ahsoka's about to fight the two Inquisitors, but yeah, like I like the duel between Ahsoka. They like nailed Vader's style. He's like not he's like this brick wall. He's like this power duelist that like you just like that like I liked how they sort of gave a sort of an accurate portrayal of his dueling abilities, since like the original movies aren't the original movies are not like an accurate portrayal of his character's abilities, at least not its face value, because like well in the Padawan, like what Jet Zakaska or whatever that that when Bail Organa goes to the temple, whatever that kid that got gunned down by the clones was like he can move faster than Vader, but yeah, like I liked the style. Like Ahsoka was like jumping all around him. I mean, she was like doing lots of like jumps around him. Vader was stationary. Like I like the duel. How like Vader eventually like force pushes her off. Uh, like Ezra, he like I felt like it cuts back to Ezra, and I feel like they should have had the fight where it would be like more uninterrupted. Like it should have been like an uninterrupted fight. Like I don't. It cuts back to Ezra and other people. Like no, we don't need we don't need I would have preferred if they just had like for an encounter that important they would have had it as just as an uninterrupted fight. Um, yeah, like Vader, like no, he force pushes Ahsoka. He integrates a force push into his attack sequence. He sends Ahsoka off something, and apparently, like when it cuts back to her, she's like unconscious. So apparently, he like RFB'd her or removed from battlefield. Um, he goes back. It's what is it? Kanan comes and helps Ezra reach the Sith holocron, which like okay, it lets you understand that. Although I'm surprised, like Kanan's not like, oh Darth, like oh we have to get this thing that Darth Maul like said we have to get. So it's like it's you should have questioned that more, but I guess we'll see that in season three. But yeah, like they're about to leave. Vader starts force pulling them back, and then like Ahsoka comes in and just like completely blindsides him and like cuts his like this is my favorite like part of the episode. Like when Ahsoka like she comes in, she slices his part of his mask open, which looks like something from the EU. Like when she lands and they go and you hear Vader say like Ahsoka, it shows this close up of Ahsoka, and it like the build up to Vader turning his head and you seeing his like face that was like really well done. Like and he looks surprisingly like well for somebody that like got burned up. I'm like he still has his eyebrows. Like wasn't one of the like the special edition edits of like Return of the Jedi removing like Vader's like eyebrows? Like wasn't that a special edition edit? Like um but yeah, like aside from that, I guess it's because they want to like show his like emotion, but like it didn't make sense to me. But yeah, like when Ahsoka says like like oh I'm not leaving you, like not this time, like that was like when it shows Vader and Ahsoka sort of like in that moment she like says that to like not Vader but for that brief moment Anakin, like and that's like my favorite, like that was my favorite moment of the episode, like when like that they just it worked, like it worked for me, because like you can clearly see that Vader's like conflicted. He's actually thinking about it. Then he decides, no, fuck, well, fuck that, he, and then he, like Ahsoka, like does like the double cross guard behind her head, which is, and Force pushes Ezra away. And there's the explosion, and again, I don't think Ahsoka died because that's like something they'd want to show. Um, but yeah, like no, I guess that's it for the episode. and also like the end, like the very end of the episode, it shows the montage of the characters, like the music, but that went really well. Like the music build up to Ezra opening like the Sith holocron, like that was done really well. Um, so yeah, I mean, I guess like in like season 3 of Rebels, like if again, like as I stated, if, for Ezra, like just have at least have Sabine be his anchor, like from going from the dark side or going to the dark side. Something that they should really do is that this is a problem I had with season 2, is that like I get it's like a kids show, you want to have like a different topic or struggle each episode. Although like I feel like this is something that happened in the Clone Wars, or no, like even in season 1 of the Clone Wars they had arcs, but I feel like Rebels, it would be better if they just like they're leaving like the season on sort of like not a cliffhanger, but it's like it's like, oh well, what happens like as soon as they get back. I don't want them to be like just a bunch of different episodes that we don't really that or just a bunch of different conflicts that aren't really relevant. Like I prefer them to like really like go, because I think it's season 3 the last like is season 3 the last season? I think there might be a fourth, but it probably. But either way, I think it would be like time for them to like do like longer stories, longer arcs. Uh, yeah, that's my thoughts of the episode. Um, I think I covered everything. I mean, what else? I mean, it fucking sucks not even seeing the eighth brother's face. Like, uh, yeah. I don't think I'm forgetting anything. Okay. I'm surprised nobody brings this up. Sidious. So Sidious has appeared at the end, or no, the first episode of season 2. I think he appears in the hologram to Vader. Or wait, no, was it the first? Yeah, I think it was the first episode. I don't know, but he says like Vader talks to Sidious. He they talk about Ahsoka, but you don't see Sidious's face, and I think that I don't know if they're gonna include Sidious. Like I really don't see Sidious coming, to finish the Rebels off. I mean, unless Ezra and Kanan, blind Kanan and Space Aladdin, are that much of a threat. I mean, I don't think Ahsoka's that much of a threat if Vader can deal with her. Um, Maul is past his prime. I don't, he says like, "Oh, I can't take Vader alone," which I guess is true, but yeah, I don't know how they're gonna introduce Palpatine if they decide to do it. I mean, maybe they won't, show him at all and just have his voice. But actually like to see him on screen. But yeah, it's basically it. It's it for this video. I've been going on long enough. So yeah, if you've, I'm currently working on Anakin versus Maul, Darth Maul. I'm using Revenge of the Sith Anakin and Son of Dathomir Maul. So yeah, if you have, I guess again, if you have any versus matchups ideas, leave suggestions below. I know like the quality of the video may not be that good, but yeah, this has been the Nuisance Bird, and see you guys later. Come on.